Today we want to talk about 3 characteristics that you need to be developing. They're actually kind of biblical principles.
They are.
That you need to be developing in your weight loss journey.
So if you're just new joining us for the first time, we're a mother-daughter team, and my name's Ruth.
And I'm Casey.
And we just want to welcome you to this channel. If you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel and let's dive in. What are the 3 characteristics that we need?
Well, we've been talking a lot about the fruits of the Spirit lately and what they have to do with weight loss. So we were talking about all of them and we thought, you know what? The fruits of the Spirit are amazing, but let's make this really simple to remember and call it the 3 P's of weight loss. So we've got peace, patience, and perseverance. And those really are essentially they're 3 fruits of the Spirit, because perseverance could kind of just be a synonym for long suffering, right?
Yeah, so that's how we're going to take it today.
Exactly. So let's just dive right into these characteristics. Peace is the first one that we want to talk about today. And, you know, as we thought about what does peace as a fruit of the Spirit have to do with our weight loss journey? Well, we have to learn how to be at peace on a weight loss journey, because it can be a really chaotic, stressful, uncomfortable time in your life, because we know losing weight is not an easy task.
And we have so many emotions. Like if you start a new plan, you're overwhelmed. Like you don't know where to start. It's like you said, it can be really chaotic. It can be. And in the midst of all that, we have to find peace. Mm-hmm. God is asking us to treat our body like a temple. So if that's what our goal is, to treat our body well and to reclaim our health and our weight, then He's going to give us the peace in that journey.
And I also just want to say too, peace also, we need to learn how to be at peace with who we are and learn to be at peace with where we're at. Because many women, when they start a weight loss journey, they absolutely despise themselves. But I mean, another fruit of the Spirit is love, and we need to learn how to love who God created us to be. But we need to learn also to be at peace with where we are at in the journey, because we're here to tell you that if you don't like yourself today, you're not going to like yourself tomorrow. You're not going to like yourself when you end up losing the weight that you wanted to lose. We have to learn to be at peace with who God created us to be at peace with the bodies that He created for us intentionally. And that means whatever shape you are, you have to learn to be at peace with it. If that means, because, you know, we've learned that your body shape is the same whether you are at a healthy weight, overweight, or underweight.
So let's talk about those body shapes a little bit, because it's so true. We have to have peace with who God made us to be. Mm-hmm.
Because you can lose all the weight and you're still going to be
the same shape. Yeah. If you're a pear shape, if you're an apple shape, if you're an inverted triangle, if you're a rectangle or a square, however you want to say whatever shape you are, when you lose the weight and you're at your desired weight, you are going to be that shape. And so God made you that way for a reason. If you despise who you are, it's time to find peace with who God made you to be. Is that going to be easy? No, it's going to take some intentional work. Mm-hmm. But it does happen, and it can happen with God in the journey, because we have to surrender our bodies to Him. We have to surrender our weight loss to Him. And He will help us. Mm-hmm. And He will help you love who He created you to be.
And really, that, if you can learn how to become at peace or find peace with who God created you to be, that can often be the catalyst that women need to actually start losing the weight, and doing it in a way that is honoring the body that God gave them, in a way that's about reclaiming their health, not in a way that's about punishing yourself because you don't like who you are. And that's a big distinction that we like to make between fad diets and like a healthy lifestyle, right? When we're choosing health, when we're choosing to love ourselves enough to treat ourselves well, that's a lot different than going, I hate myself, I'm going on another diet. And so
that's right.
Learning to be at peace with who God created us to be is definitely something that we need to be working on developing throughout this journey of losing weight.
So stick around till the end, because we're going to talk about something that we want to invite you to go and look at, which is our Food Freedom Workshop, which is going to help you find that peace. Mm-hmm. But stick around. The second P that we want to talk about is patience. Well, we all know we need patience in a weight loss journey, because the journey doesn't happen overnight, okay?
Yeah. Even if you only have 10 pounds to lose, it usually does not happen very quickly, right?
That's right. It can take a long time, because sometimes the last 5 pounds takes the longest. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't matter where you're at, whether it's 5 pounds or 150 pounds, it doesn't matter. You have to learn to develop the fruit of the Spirit of patience, mm-hmm. because it's a long, hard journey.
our coach often tells us we live in a microwave society. We want microwave results, but we live in a crock pot reality.
Which is slow.
Right? But think about how much better your tender meat tastes after it's slow cooked for 8 hours versus like, can you imagine
Flash
cooking
fried
meat in the microwave?
That's right.
We don't want that, right?
No, we want to be flavorful, and we want to develop those fruits of the Spirit. And the more we develop it, the better the fruit is.
Exactly. And so especially we find with women on weight loss journeys, we have this idea that it should be fast, 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 and we should get there quick. And if we're not losing at least 5 pounds a week, we're not doing it right. And we have these crazy expectations that have nothing to do with patience.
That's right.
And so we've got to start thinking about, like, what does it mean to be patient on a weight loss journey? Well, it means that sometimes the results don't show up as quickly as we want them to. But that doesn't mean we quit.
That's right. And sometimes our results aren't measured in, I'm going to say they're not measured on the scale. Sometimes we lose inches. Sometimes our bodies are just changing from the inside out. Sometimes we're just learning to love ourselves. Sometimes we call them non-scale victories. But, you know, during the whole long journey, there are so many rewards. They're just not instant. Exactly. So we have to give ourselves the patience that God is asking us to develop.
Yeah. And we often say, you've probably heard us say this if you've been here for a while, the Bible is our blueprint for best living. And so if the fruits of the Spirit are things that we want to be developing in our lives, then surely they apply to our weight loss journey. And surely if we are willing to surrender this journey, then we are going to be working out those fruits of the Spirit. And we want them to be evident in our lives. And what better way for them to be evident than through our weight loss journey?
Absolutely. So let's go on to the third P, which is perseverance. Well, that kind of goes along with the patience, but perseverance, and we know that perseverance is not actually a fruit of the Spirit, but we are putting this in line with long suffering. And that has a lot of different meanings to it, long suffering, but we're just saying perseverance and long suffering are kind of similar. So we need to develop perseverance because the Bible, the blueprint for living, is asking us to run the race with perseverance. We have to persevere in our journey. It will happen, but it's going to take time because the Bible says we reap what we sow in due time, at the proper time.
And the thing I love about the word perseverance is that, like, it feels more like an action word, right? Like, if you think about patience, well, patience is so important, but you can sit back and be patient. Perseverance means that you're running the race. You're doing the work. You're not quitting on the work. And so, you know, we have to have patience to let God do his work, but we have to be persistent and have perseverance in us doing the work and putting our feet on the ground. And like the rubber meets the road in our weight loss journey where, you know, the weight doesn't magically disappear just because we surrender the journey. We have to do the work. We have to make every decision count. And, you know, that's what I think is so brilliant about the word perseverance, because it speaks to the fact that it's actionable.
That's right. Actionable steps is what is going to get you to your target weight loss goal. So another word that we use in conjunction with perseverance is consistency. When we're persistent and we persevere, over time, you will reap what you are looking to reap. You will lose the weight. You will shed the pounds. But how do you do it? You do it one step at a time.
Yeah, one decision at a time. And that's why we need patience, because it's not fast, right? And, you know, I think that's where so many people fall off the rails. They fall off the wagon because we have this expectation that it should be quick. We have this expectation that we should be able to make like 3 consecutive good decisions and then poof, it should magically be all going the way we want it to go. But 3 good decisions, 1 week of eating healthy isn't going to, you know, give you these crazy results that you want. And you can have some pretty amazing results in a week, but they're never enough for what we have as expectations in our head.
So we have to be patient with ourselves. We have to be patient in that we can't have our expectations too high. We have to have that perseverance and that persistency where we are going to put one step in front of the other, even if the road is long. And we need to find the peace in the long haul, even if we don't see the rewards instantaneously.
Exactly. So let's just do a quick recap. Peace, patience, perseverance. And those really are 3 biblical principles or characteristics that we want to be working on and developing through our weight loss journey. And, it's kind of like we already said, but most women have a little bit of a wall up when it comes to losing weight because we don't want to make the hard changes because it's hard, right? We don't want to give up the foods that we love. We don't want to say no to the dessert. We don't want to stop drinking the sweet coffees.
That's right. And we don't want our doctor to tell us that we are overweight. We don't want anyone to tell us anything that has to do with our bodies or our weight because we get this wall.
Yeah, and it just becomes this like subconscious unwillingness where we are unwilling to surrender. We're unwilling to let go of that, what we perceive as control because we're eating whatever we want or we're, whatever, however you're doing it. But we need to have a willing heart. And so if you don't right now, we would just say, pray and ask God to give you a willing heart and a willing spirit because we want to honor God with our bodies. And everything that we do, we are supposed to do to the glory and honor of God. And so that means everything that you put in your mouth should be to the honor and glory of God. Do you think about it like that? Most of us don't.
No, most of us don't. And so when we're filling our bodies with trash, because we call all the processed junk food trash, where it's actually harming our bodies, it's not beneficial, it's not helping our bodies, we just don't even think about it. So it's time to get back to the basics and actually think about what God's word is telling us to do. He is calling us to treat our body like a temple. We wouldn't bring all the trash to the temple. So why are we putting it in our temple?
Well, and ultimately, these things are for our benefit. They're hard, but they are for our benefit. They are not for our harm. The Bible, right. The words in the Bible, the instructions in the Bible are absolutely not for our harm, right? We're told that he's working out all things together for good for those of us who love him, not for harm.
That's right. And he tells us how much he loves us. And so we need to love him back and we need to respect and honor the temple. So let's start doing it by practicing these 3 Ps.
Exactly. Well, we have what we call our Food Freedom Workshop. And we know that so many women are struggling with all of these mixed up wires that we have in our heads in regards to our relationship with food, right? You can't eat this, you can never eat that, you should only eat this, you should always count calories, you should only blah, 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 blah.
There's no peace.
Yeah, and we've been fed so much mismatched information, and I always think about eggs as an example of that, right?
They're
eggs,
bad, they're good, they're healthy, they're not healthy, don't eat them, eat 4, eat 6.
Exactly, and so it's confusing, right? It's confusing to know what to trust, what to believe. And so we always say, we got to just get back to the basics, right? Let's start using the brains that God gave us to think about what we're putting into our bodies. And let's start uncrossing all of those mixed up wires that we have in regards to our relationship with food. And really, that's what the Food Freedom Workshop is all about. It's about getting back to the basics, and it's about uncovering some of those crossed wires that you have in regards to your relationship with food so that we can uncross them and get back to the basics. Yeah. So it's a 5-day workshop where you'll get a video for 5 days, one video for 5 days, and a worksheet. And it's about a half hour to 45 minutes worth of content for you. And we've had thousands of women through it at this point. And honestly, the feedback we have gotten is mind-blowing.
Yeah, it will transform your life. And if you're struggling with emotional eating, where you're feeding your emotions, well, this is going to help you through that because we want to feel our emotions. We don't want to feed our emotions. Mm-hmm. So we just encourage you to click on the link that is in the description area. Check out our Food Freedom Workshop because we know it can totally transform your life if you put in the effort.
Exactly. So we just want to thank you for being here, and it is our prayer that this information will be useful for you, that you can take it away, that you can pray and ask for that willing heart so that you will work on developing these characteristics through your weight loss journey. And we always like to end by saying this: until next time, treat your body like a temple, not a trash can.